My name is David Halwiindi, and I'm a Zambian entrepreneur. I think the easiest is to tell you when I started my entrepreneurship journey. It was in 2010. That time I'd resigned from my employment. It was a very good job. Then I decided to take a 3 days time of prayer to just ask God the direction that I'll take. And in those 3 days, the only impression I had was to start working on the revelations or the business ideas that I had. So I'd say from 2010, I've spent time pursuing after those ideas. Some of them succeeded. I would say most of them didn't until 2019 when I thought of venturing into real estate. The biggest challenge is self-belief. Because before somebody else believes in you, you need to believe in yourself. So here's a situation where the first idea was coming up with a hospitality and tourism portal. That came about because I was stranded one day in Lusaka. I was looking for accommodation. I couldn't find accommodation up until around 23, where I ended up sleeping in a guest house in one of the compounds. And I thought if we can have a portal that will bring all the hospitality industry players on board, it will be easy for one to just get accommodation. That's the time, I think it's before Airbnb came on board and the likes. So from there I thought hospitality, I combine it with tourism. The greatest challenge after I believed my idea was getting the information that I needed for that portal. Then also getting businesses to believe in that idea. So the first challenge is self-belief. Then the second challenge is the other stakeholders. The challenge would be, will they believe in what you want to do? A lot didn't believe, but I knew that it's something that could work out. Yeah. My breaking point was when I realized that in entrepreneurship, what you need first of all, before you pursue that idea that you impose on people. For instance, before you have a Facebook type of product, like here in Zambia, you need to have a product that people already want. Yeah. A good example is before you try to sell a new tomato ketchup, you should be able to sell tomato. As you sell tomato, then people will know that that one sells tomatoes, maybe this product will work. So you just need to have a product that people want. Vision. It's simple as that. It's vision. 2010, when I realized that actually I'm not meant to work for people, but work for myself and empower others. The first scripture that came to mind was Proverbs 23 verse 7. And the first part, which says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So I realized that whatever I would want to become would depend on what I think. And when I first had the first business idea, the thought was, what do I want this idea to achieve? Or in this entrepreneurship journey that I'm getting into, what do I want to achieve? So I came up with a vision for the business. For Moody Ventures, our vision is changing tomorrow today, meaning that we want to come up with solutions that will help people achieve their future plans by initiating them today. We do that by offering different services. So it's just that vision as an entrepreneur. I want to see people achieve something that they want to achieve tomorrow by them starting it today. And that was so enshrined in me. up to now, that even regardless of the failures, I still knew that I still have that which I can provide to this nation and to the world that will help somebody be empowered. If I told you that in my life, I never thought I would be involved in real estate, I believe you won't believe me. But I remember 2010, 2011, I was writing on a small vision board the companies that I would want to establish. That's the time when I had not registered a business at all. And I had not even taken note that real estate was there. So in 2019, late 2018, I was contracted to develop a real estate management system for one of the real estate companies. So it made me to study the whole operations for a period of like 1 month. I was with them for about 3 months because I wanted to come up with a product that will help them. I did that for that first company, produced that product, and another company also came in. They wanted a similar product, so I had to again see how they're operating and just tailored it to suit whatever they were doing. At the end, I was involved with 5 businesses. So there were a few recommendations that I was making that they couldn't agree with. Because if you're running business, there are times you feel recommendations from an outsider are like interfering with your business. But for me, I saw them to be cardinals. So in my quiet time, I was wondering why almost everyone was refusing. Then it just dawned on me that actually that was a business opportunity. So from consulting, I thought, okay, I think let me provide answers to this. One of them was proper planning of residential areas. Just putting the heart and soul to what you are doing for the sake of those who are buying. Then also the correct treatment of the landowners. So I decided, let me go in. Then I identified a few people that I could work with. And that was the beginning of the real estate journey. I think the first thing, they need to have a proper understanding of the industry. Because real estate is in different components. I would say for us, we are right at the entry point of land development. But real estate goes as far as owning properties and not selling plots to people. But it's having that vision. We know where we want to go. But for now, we have to be where we are according to our size. Yes, so that person should really have an understanding of the real estate business, what they want to do. Then secondly, I would say they shouldn't do it for the money, or they should develop a correct motive as to why they are going into the business. Because it's not always that you put money first. In fact, money follows the services and the sacrifice that you put in. Not every successful company today made its profits in the first year, or the first 3 years, or the first 5 years. So if money becomes a motive, then you end up failing. So they just need to develop a correct motive. So those two are, they are critical. Yeah, I'll share something. In 2010, when I resigned, imagine resigning, you are in the morning, you go for work, you're driving a very good vehicle. Then you come back home walking. Yes. Then you have all these people who were close to you distancing themselves. I was so low. But by the grace of God, I believe that God who had a plan in me, his plan was still alive. I just needed to discover it. Fortunately, there's a man, I wasn't so close to him, but I went to his business center. He gave me about 3 books. One book was called, the title is Right Place, I think it's Right People, Right Place, Right Time by Pastor Franklin. Then he gave me another book, I can't remember. I wasn't a reader by then, so he only gave me those two books to be read within 5 days, like 4 days. On a Monday and on a Friday, I needed to bring them back. So I just perused through. On Friday, I took them back and I could share a few things, but I was so strategic. Then he said, there's one book I want to give you. I knew that if you bring this book, then I have to give you. He gave me a book, The Power of Vision, by marksman. May he so rest in peace. Though I believe he's still speaking even today. I read that book and it just opened up the future for me. I realized that I was living a life without a proper vision all along. Yeah, because he defined vision clearly. And I just said I need to have a picture of what I want to become. Yes, both for my life, for my family. What will people remember me for in Zambia and in the world when I'm gone? Yes, so that now helped me to break down the things that I would want to do. Because I knew what I want to become, even if I was jobless. But I now started creating that picture of the future I want. You know, God told Abraham, he told him, when they were separating with Lot, he told him, as far as your eyes can see, so do I give you the land. And the man just looked. At the end, he became a father of many nations. But his physical sight had a limitation. So he had to look using his mental sight. So vision is all about what you picture in your mind and not what you see. Yes. So coming to the importance of a vision board. In Habakkuk, it's one of my favorite scriptures. Yes. In Habakkuk, the Bible says, write your vision down so that those who are coming before you can run with it. Yeah. So as an individual, you have to write everything, at least everything. It can be in detail or it can be abstract. Me, I'm an abstract kind of a person. I like graphical representation of things. Even all my ideas, they are graphical. I only communicate them in detail when I know that there are people who have to run with them. But if it's an idea that I'm still pursuing and I'm not really sure if it's ready to be shared, then it will be abstract. If I gave you my notepad, you won't understand. But me, I would be able to tell you a lot of things from there. So it's important that you write down so that you remind yourself, and also for you to check the progress that you're making. Then that vision board should be a board that you are ready to edit. If you have that picture, when there are situations that will make you to edit. For instance, now we are in the pandemic era. There are certain ways in which we are doing business. We are no longer using them. So you can't say, I wrote it on the vision board, we have to stick to it. You should be able to modify, but you shouldn't lose sight of where you are going. Yeah. If I was to go back in 2010, the first thing I'll tell myself is to pursue after the internet business ideas that I have, to pursue after them and make sure that they work out. Because I'll tell you that the first idea I had shared was a portal for hospitality and tourism. The second idea I had was an e-commerce platform. So the first idea was called Bridge Zambia. Then we changed it to stayzambia.co.zm. And the e-commerce platform, we called it Biz365. It was the last idea that failed in 2018. So if I would go back, I would tell myself, these ideas we have, actually come 2020, they'll be needed. There are times I see it, and a few friends who saw me pursue after those ideas, they laugh at me and say, you were supposed to be a billionaire by now. But I tell them it's fine. I failed because, not that I didn't try. The ideas failed because the people were not ready. Especially in internet-based businesses here in Zambia, or I would say in Africa, except I think Kenya, South Africa, and maybe Nigeria. So, yeah, we failed because it wasn't the right time. And also the people weren't ready to just adopt those new ideas. So I would still tell the young me to pursue after those ideas and make sure that they work out, because come 2020, they'll be needed and going forward. It will be like a man who knows that he wants to marry a certain lady, maybe next year or after next year, and is not ready. I believe he should start approaching that lady. Yes. So in the same way, if a person has ideas, there are certain ideas that are visible. There are certain ideas that people can touch. But there are certain ideas that are more to do with the mind. I'll go back to internet-based ideas because we are in an information age. They are more to do with the mind. You conceive them, and as you develop, you start interacting with them. And maybe your customers will only interact with them through an app. So there should be that process. If you have an idea, if it's IT-based, it's important you start pursuing it now. Then let the few people, those that are closer to you, have access to it. You would have bought yourself development time. But if it's any other business, then you still have to start. You need to start. The Bible says, do not despise the days of small beginnings. God told the children of Israel, I'm taking you to a land flowing with milk and honey. But they had to start with a step until after all those years they reached where they are going. So my advice would be, whatever future business idea you have to start now. Elon Musk had an idea of taking people to Mars. Up to now, it's still an idea, because no man has gone there, but the man is busy preparing and selling it to our minds that, no, this is possible. Yes, so every dream you have, no matter how futuristic it is, when you have it, that's the time you have to start pursuing it. So my advice is start. The future won't wait for you. So start. As the year comes, opportunities will come. For instance, who knew that a lot of Zambians would be buying things online? Me, I was seeing it to be a 2030 thing because of how slow. I think Zambians, the only thing they could use the phone for is WhatsApp and Facebook. But now people are comfortable to purchase things online. So if there was somebody who had an idea of an online store way back and was just waiting for that time to come, it means that they have missed it. But if they had started doing something, they would have pushed in their level-based and launched a product when the need came forth. So the best is now. Now is the time. Yeah. I appreciate the government for creating the Ministry of SMEs. I think that has been missing for some time. But maybe the question is, you have created a ministry. Have you created an educational platform for those SMEs to learn? Yes. Or have you introduced entrepreneurship in schools? If you have, what kind of education are they getting? Is it that one? Is it a curriculum based on technocrats who just sit on a boardroom table and discuss business? Or is it a curriculum based on the experiences of tried and tested entrepreneurs? Yes. So I feel if that is done, then whatever effort they have introduced will help Zambia develop. The other thing is, Zambia, for some time, we have depended on crop and agriculture. And for a long time, even now, a lot of sectors, the sector leaders are actually not Zambians. So whatever money is made goes out, whether we want it or not. Yes, somebody will say, no, you are wrong, you are what, but that's the truth. A perfect example is the gap that way back businesses of Indian origin were the ones that were running the retail sector. Then when most of them moved into manufacturing, there was a gap that was created. And that gap wasn't filled in by Zambians. And now it's filled in by a lot of businesses from businessmen from, I would say, East Africa and some from Congo. So you can imagine when they make their profits, that money goes out. The needs of this nation remain unsolved. Yeah. So Zambia, I believe Zambia should be an entrepreneur-based nation. Every nation in the world that has progressed, including China, it's an entrepreneur-based economy that has made China to be what it is today. Because Zambia doesn't need people who depend on the government. Zambia needs a government that will depend on its people. For instance, that time when we wanted Eurobond, 750. If a lot of us were doing well as entrepreneurs, we would have come together and said, government, get this money, you'll be paying us. That way the conditions would be good. So that's why I'm saying we need a Zambia whose government depends on its people. But for now, how can we make it that way? Zambians should start, the youths especially, should start identifying businesses that can make them grow. The biggest problem that I've realized in Zambia is we always want to start big and not small. Yeah. So even for government, they have established that ministry. You'll find a lot of proposals that will go there. People would want to start with this 500,000 kwacha budget, when that person has never even handled a 5,000 kwacha budget. You get it? So from my experience, we need to identify the small things that we can do. I always learn from, I would say, the Rwandan spirit. Because almost all the groceries currently, if not 80% of the groceries are run by either Rwandese or guys from Burundi or Congo. Just closer to my office, there's a young guy. When he started with very few groceries, but now his shop is ever packed. He opens at 05, closes at 22:30. A thing that a Zambian youth can't do. The same business that a graduate would despise is the same business that enables somebody to even employ a fellow Rwandese. So you have seen the danger. If the Zambian youths don't take up the place in helping this economy, then others will help this economy run as a machine, but the benefit of it will go to their nations. Yeah. So we need to identify the businesses that we can do, and we shouldn't be too proud to not do them. Yeah, we should be able to forget about what this John and that Sarah will talk about you. When you start, just start. If it's selling tomatoes, start. I remember there's one lady way back who said, no, those graduates should start selling tomatoes. And there was a backlash, a serious one. I think Unza, you posted, maybe you're one of them who even said, what are you talking about? For me, I felt she needed to elaborate more. It's all about starting small. Just that small idea that you have. Somebody would say, I want to have a garage. Maybe I want to be ordering vehicles and selling vehicles. And that person is a good mechanic. You can start from there. You save slow. Then when you save slow, you have money, you buy your first third-hand vehicle. You repair it, you paint it, you sell it. With that profit, you buy another one. With time, you'll be able to become what you want. So the biggest challenge in Zambia is not wanting to sacrifice. So youths have to sacrifice. Then secondly, they have to be patient. If youths are to fill the gap, then patience should be there also. So I think just these two will be key to youths helping in filling up the gap. Apart from that, I'll talk of a dream also. It's important that everyone should have a dream. That dream is what will drive them. Because if the dream is to just make money, then business is not their thing. Because you don't make money immediately, unless if you use shortcuts. But the normal entrepreneurship that I've come to learn, you can't make money instantly. There should be that sacrifice, there should be that patience for growth, then returns will come in. The best is to learn. For such a person who has experienced failure in a particular business, I would say let them identify a successful person who is doing the business the one they were trying to do, and let them ask for advice. If that person is a person who cannot give them advice, let them try to get a job in that same entity, even the lowest one, even a job as a cleaner, because cleaners have insight to what goes on in a business better than an outsider. The best is let them find themselves in that business maybe for 3 months or 2 months. Their interest should be to learn. I remember the time when I had told one of my pastors that I want to learn about transportation. That was again in 2010, because I had a lot of ideas. And I think 2013, an opportunity came for me to work as an operations for one of the transportation companies. At first, I'd put money first. As a result, we couldn't agree. So I knew that I was needed in that business because I was consulting for them. But the money factor prevented us working together. So I remember Pastor telling me that you always want to learn about transportation. Join this company, not for the money. Join it for you to learn. So I called the man and I told him, okay, fine. I think I'm ready to join you. So he said, just like that, he said, fine. Should we negotiate the salary? I told him, whatever you give me. Whether I'm paid on a month, at the end of the month, or the salary doesn't come, I didn't mind, because my aim was I should help in improving the business. At the same time, I should learn. And I learned a lot. I'm what I am today because of some of the things that I learned whilst working for that business. And also, I had the time frame. When I felt, no, the time now for me to part ways has come, then I left. So such kind of a person should identify a business that does the business that they have failed, should find a way of getting direct lessons from that business, either by being employed as a cleaner or any low job. Their aim is to learn. If they find a business owner who is free to give advice, then they are better off getting advice from such a person. And they should do it not only from one entity, they should do it maybe from 2 or 3. Because every business has different approaches depending on the personalities of the people, of the person that is leading that business. So it's important that they learn maybe from 3. Me, for us to venture into real estate, I learned from 5 individuals. What actually happened is whatever we have come to set up in our operations is a representation of the experiences that those 5 businesses had. So the person should just learn. When they learn, they shouldn't be there for long, because they shouldn't forget about their dream. So as they learn, then they can now modify how they want to do the business again. I know that when they failed, there are lessons that were learned. So the best is with the experiences that they'll get, they can improve on those lessons and do it better and possibly succeed.